And then if we go back the page, this ties in somewhat to physical and mental reasons for inconsistency. So physical might be we haven't grooved our action. So we haven't grooved our cue action and our method. What else is a physical reason?
Fatigue.
Yes, very good.
Lack of sleep.
Absolutely. Fatigue.
Heavy gym work.
Yeah, physical factors. Yeah, what about mental reasons?
Stress.
Yeah. What else?
Argument with wife.
Yeah. Stress, wife. The major reason for inconsistency, blame it on the wife.
Work issues.
Yeah. We could say that's also with
Stress.
work and stress, couldn't we? What else?
Alcohol.
Yeah,
No.
we're assuming no one's drinking alcohol though when they're playing. Sometimes it's what we don't know. You know, how do we know that the planets or the Saturn or whatever is not, or Mars is not disrupting our patterns or something, or the moon is not affecting our mood in some way?
There is something, a science called biorhythm.
Oh yeah. So what
you can
is that?
actually download it as an app. It is biorhythm.
Yeah.
It will give you 4, 5 or 6 dimensions of your personality at this time.
Yeah.
But surprising enough, this science depends on your birthday.
That's interesting. Well, that's all, you know.
It asks you for birthday, and you enter a date, a full date,
Yeah.
year, month,
Yeah.
day, enter, and you go to your page. It will give you graphs, and it will tell you time now is this, and your mental ability, your emotions, your...
That's interesting. I mean, I never believed any of this about numbers or planets or anything. I still didn't see.
But this is amazing. I have it in my mobile as an app. I'll show you later.
Yeah, I didn't see any evidence that convinces me, but I don't know that it's not true, and I know that.
Compare it with how you feel.
Yeah, well, one of the greatest financial traders in the world, actually, in one of his books, goes into astrology and how that affects the markets. And so, how do I know that's not true? I don't, so that's why I put a question mark. Sometimes we do not know the effects,
we don't know the effects
that are happening. Maybe there's something going on subconsciously, and of course, if the mind is not completely locked onto what we're doing, it's like wearing shady glasses. You can't see the angles so well. It is like a fog, a mental fog. So mind management, if mind management is not there, you're not going to be totally consistent, and your mind will never be completely still and completely consistent. So mind management is a huge part. So there's a lot going on in the mind and the body and our technique. Tiny variations. I mean, all you've got to do is move this 1/4 millimetre offline, you'll miss a long ball. I mean, that's not difficult to do, to move it.
Yeah. Very easy.
Any of these tiny variables can make such a difference. So, we've got the layers of, going the wrong way, we've got the layers of consistency, how to go up the scale, and it all comes from self-diagnosis. It's all based on self-diagnosis. You've basically got, what does the cue do? X, Y, Z axis, isn't it? The cues on the X, the Y, the Z axis. So the X is the line of aim, and the
Yes.
Y is the height.
Yeah, the height.
So the X is the line of aim, the Y axis is the height on the cue ball, and the Z axis is the speed of the shot. That's all you need to do in snooker. That's all Ronnie's trying to do in snooker, and not successfully all the time, because even he misses balls, even when he's playing well. But all he's trying to do, as along with all the rest of us, is trying to improve his X, Y and Z axis. The line of aim, the height and the speed, and there's nothing else to snooker, just those three things. So how do we feed back on those? Well, you've got to stay in position, check the cue delivery, evaluate, do some practice, fine-tune your shots, your consistency, your accuracy, your
Repetition.
to ingrain the shots in your mind, in your eyes, in your arm. And no one will ever achieve that either, because this is what we discussed earlier, which is, so if that's perfection, this is us. You might get closer to perfection, and Ronnie's up here or out here somewhere, right? But he'll never touch this line, because even he is a subject to variables. But all of us have some distance between where we are and perfection, and that gap will never be closed by anybody, because there are too many variables. So seeing that, I think, challenges quite a few players' perception that I should be able to pot all the balls all of the
By
time.
knowing this, it will be a motivating or challenging information for you to come back and do the planned practice. And
Yes, it is. Yeah, absolutely it is. Yeah, because how you approach your practice determines how quickly you move along this line.
Yeah.
A lot of people just stay here.
And also a prospect of your own abilities. I want to see myself in 3 weeks in a better position.
Yeah, this is all planning, but you get that from your flying discipline and planning the logical sequence of events that you plan in a flight and your career or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't think in that way, so they wonder why they're
I
just
want to
staying
see
here.
myself what is my position myself next year. So I have to, sometimes things you can do momentarily, and some other things you have to really plan and work on it.
Yeah, because you're at zero.
Yeah, it's like cooking.
Yeah,
You cannot cook in 1 second. You
Yeah,
have
I
to
know.
start cooking 2 hours before to end up eating a good meal after 2 hours, something like that.
yeah. I couldn't even do it in 2
Yeah.
hours. I'm hopeless.
Okay. Me too. I'm a specialist in all
A
this.
specialist in hopeless. I'm going to write that down. A specialist in hopeless.
I can do boiled eggs.
Me too. That's what I was thinking of,
I boil
actually.
it in a kettle.
In a kettle.
I mean, electrical kettle.
You're not meant to do that, I don't think.
Yeah. And
Can you do it in a kettle, really?
Yeah, you do. You can. And the rest of the water, you can make coffee with it. It's just too lazy to get rid of it and have
Yeah, what a
fresh
great
water.
idea. No, but you have to keep it on for 10 minutes, don't you? The myths of eye preference, eye strength and eye dominance. This is one of my favourite subjects because it's misexplained so often